News and Sports Network.
It is a gorgeous Sunday afternoon in New York City, and that sets you up for the game. It's been all about Mark Teixeira so far in the first two games. If you think about it, back-to-back Teixeira, back-to-back games with 3-run home runs. He doesn't care what the calendar says. Yeah, it's April, and he's spitting in the face of April, having one of his best starts ever. As today, the Yes Network presents New York Yankees baseball. It's the New York Yankees against the Detroit Tigers in the final game of a 3-game set from Yankee Stadium in the Bronx. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Yankees baseball along with Ken Singleton. I'm Michael Kay. Yes, it's been Mark Teixeira, but it's been all of the Yankees as well. They put 16 runs on the board. They've had 5 home runs in their first 2 games. Yesterday, they won the game 10-6, and the Bronx Bombers are out in force.
Yeah, the Yankees have scored 16 runs. As you said, Michael, 11 of them have come this way. By the home run, Mark Teixeira, back-to-back games with 3-run homers. He's gotten off to a great start this year. And Russell Martin, in the 5th inning yesterday, his first home run as a Yankee, it was a 3-run shot. Here's a man who's hit many. A home run for the Yankees thus far, hit many more. A-Rod with his first of the year and the 614th of his major league career.
In 2 games, 16 runs, 17 hits, 3 doubles, 5 home runs, and a lusty 6 for 20 with runners in scoring position. Now, last year, the Yankees scored a lot of runs for Phil Hughes. He'll take more of the same. All-star appearance, 18 wins, but a strange breakdown. Great one half, not too good the second. We'll talk about it next on segment 2. I'm Michael Kay. That first pitch is going to be thrown by Phil Hughes. Phil Hughes, 18 wins last year, but he had a better first half than he did the second half, which is concerning to some people. Phil Hughes tries to explain.
As a whole, I would have liked to, continue that first half all the way through the season. People look at it and they say, well, he's never thrown that many innings before. It had to be that. But, I really didn't feel that fatigue. So for me, I didn't want to lean on that as the excuse. I wanted to look somewhere else as to, how I can get better. So my attitude this spring is just to come in and be more of a complete pitcher.
Let's check out the numbers on Phil Hughes. The first 6 games started, he was 5-0, including a start in Oakland where he had a near no-hitter, ended up giving up 1 hit to the Oakland A's. You can see the ERA 1.38 in those first 6 games started. The last 25 games, not quite as good, particularly the earned run average, 4.98. It was lucky for him. The Yankees scored more runs for him than any other pitcher in baseball. They supported him well with run support, and that's why he won 18 games.
6.5 runs per game the Yankees gave Phil Hughes. Well, they're looking to give some more today. Big stars in this game on a Sunday afternoon in New York. Lineups, first pitch, baseball, coming up next, right here on Yes. broadcast is brought to you in part by the Lincoln Spring Forward event. All this luxury, all this confidence. By Wells Fargo. Wachovia is now Wells Fargo in the tri-state area. And by NYSERDA. Energy, innovation, solutions. Well, Phil Hughes will get the start for the New York Yankees on the mound, taking his warm-ups right now. The team behind him. And let's take a look as we move forward at the Tigers starting lineup. Austin Jackson in center field will lead off, batting second and playing second, Ramon Santiago. Brennan Bosch, the DH, at third. Cleaning up and playing first base, Miguel Cabrera. Victor Martinez behind the plate today. He's going to bat fifth. Batting sixth and playing left field, Ryan Rayburn. Don Kelly's in right field, batting seventh. Batting eighth and playing shortstop, Johnny Peralta. And Brandon Inge, the third baseman, will bat ninth.
24-year-old right-hander Phil Hughes on the mound. As Michael told you earlier, made the All-Star team last year for the first time. 4-2 career record against the Detroit Tigers, and this is what he did last year. 18-8. 146 strikeouts and 176 in the third innings. Opponents hit 244. Let's check out the scouting report on Phil Hughes. Good Day Sunshine. That's a song by the Beatles, but it might as well have been the anthem for Phil Hughes the last couple of years. He is 9-2 in day games, and he had the top run support of any pitcher in the American League last year. The Yankees scored nearly 7.5 runs per 9 innings that he was on the mound, and 20 out of the 25 home runs he allowed were allowed here at Yankee Stadium. So when he gave up the homer, it was usually here in the Bronx.
We're ready. Now let's do it here at the stadium. The first pitch is a strike. Austin Jackson, 8 at bats, 2 hits, 5 strikeouts. Fouled away in the count 0-2. Jackson led the American League with 170 strikeouts last year and just 4 home runs. So 3 on opening day and 2 yesterday. The 0-2.
Yeah, Michael, when you get the players who strike out that much, usually there's 25, 30, maybe even 40 home runs going along with 170 strikeouts. But Jackson's a leadoff hitter, and Tigers don't really look to him to have power. I think he'll learn to hit more home runs as he gets more acclimated with the major leagues and the pitchers around the league.
The 0-2 outside. Phil Hughes against Detroit last year, 2-0, 1.38, so a good matchup for him. The 1-2 foul back, and in April last year he was 2-0 with a 2.00 ERA in 13 starts, 18 innings pitched.
He did pitch very well against Detroit. He beat them once at Comerica Park, and he beat them at Yankee Stadium on August the 19th. The win at Comerica Park was May the 12th of last year.
The 1-2 outside. Now there was some concern in spring training that Phil's velocity was down, and Joe Girardi said, I have no concern. His velocity was about the same in spring training last year, and Phil Hughes said, I'm not concerned. Once the adrenaline of the regular season kicks in, we'll see how it is. There's a fly ball, fairly deep left center. Granderson is there. Wow. Now you've seen Granderson in center. Let's take a look at the entire Yankee defense, brought to you by your Mercedes-Benz Tri-State dealer. Gardner and Swisher will sandwich Granderson. And the infield is Rodriguez, Jeter, Cano, and Teixeira third to first. Russell Martin behind the plate. Phil Hughes is on the mound. Here is Ramon Santiago. Phil's record at home last year was outstanding, but his ERA wasn't that good. Kenny mentioned the home runs he gave up here. 11-4, 4.66 at home. 7-4, 3.47 on the road. High fly ball, shallow right field, long run for Swisher. He's there and he makes the play for the second out.
Well, Phil Hughes, you mentioned the record, 11 wins here at the Yankee Stadium, 11-4. He actually tied CC Sabathia for the most wins on the club here at the stadium. CC was 11-2 last season here at Yankee Stadium.
Here's Brennan Bosch. You know, we talk about the tale of 2 seasons with Phil Hughes, good first half, bad second. With Bosch, it's even more stark. Bosch hit 347 in the first half last year, and then he hit 163 after the All-Star break. And the concern amongst Major League scouts is that the league caught on to him. He has a long swing. He swings a lot of pitches. And he also has a very big strike zone. And it was exploited in the second half. There's a strike.
Here's the Home Depot scout report on Brennan Bosch. Led all rookies in home runs last year. His first major league home run was a grand slam off Joel Pinheiro of the Angels.
The 1-1. 1-2.
And the last note was he led all the outfielders in the American League in errors with 10.
That's a lot of errors for an outfielder.
Well, I've done that.
You've made 10? Really?
I think I led the league in errors one year. I think I did. I know I led the league in assists the year after that.
The 1-2. High. Let's look at the game time weather conditions presented by Bigelow Tea. Beautiful day, 51 degrees, humidity 36%. Wind is 18 miles per hour. It's cool and sunny, just like Kenny.
It is still cool.
Hot shot, just under the glove of Cano and into right field for a base hit. Bosch hit the ball hard.
I remember the first half of the year when we went into Detroit back in May of last year. He was on fire. Been called up for the minor leagues, and he couldn't get him out. Just underneath the glove of Cano. Well, when you're a hitter, you love to see that infielders reach and can't quite get to him.
Here's Miguel Cabrera. High fly ball, right side. Long run for everybody, but it makes the seats. The Yankees have had some trouble with Miguel Cabrera. He's hit safely in 24 of 25 games against them, and he's 32 for 89 in those games. That's what he did last year, finishing second to Josh Hamilton in the MVP voting. So Bosch leads off first. Count 0-2. Cabrera has played what amounts to a full season in the month of April in his career. 162 games in April. Check out these numbers in April. 325, 37 homers, 129 ribbies.
That's getting off to decent starts.
Yeah. Driven in 100 runs or more in his last 7 seasons as well.
You know, one thing that I'm amazed about him, or when he first came up with the Marlins, he was an outfielder. There were veteran players at first and third. He was actually an infielder. Then they switched him to third base. That didn't work out. Then they moved him to first, and he has become an accomplished fielding first baseman. A lot better than he was when he first went over there.
It's missed outside.
There was some fear that he would eventually become a DH, but now that he only DHs maybe once every so often to give him a semi-day off.
The 1-2. Line deep to left field. Going back, Gardner. Track, wall, see ya. 2-run home run. Miguel Cabrera. And the Tigers have jumped out to an early lead.
Well, the way Cabrera is hit against the Yankees, it doesn't take much of a mistake for him to jump on it. If you follow this pitch, the breaking ball is supposed to be down and away, and it didn't get out there. It got towards the middle of the plate. And he is the type of hitter you cannot make these. Here's where the target is, and watch where the pitch is. It's up more towards the middle of the plate. Down and away where the glove was would have been a perfect strike. That was a strike, but it was towards the middle of the plate, and Cabrera jumped on it for his first home run of the year.
Cabrera now has 5 home runs in his last 7 games here at the stadium. And that's going to bring up Victor Martinez. Tiger manager Jim Leyland specifically said before the game the Tigers needed to get a lead. They had a lead on Thursday for the opener, 1-0. but that was erased with the 3-run home run by Mark Teixeira. Miguel Cabrera, first Tigers successful fielder in 1990 to hit 5 home runs in one season against the Yankees. That was last year.
I'm impressed by that note, but I'm more impressed that years ago Frank Robinson hit 7 home runs off one pitcher in a season.
Wow.
He hit 7 off Earl Wilson in one season.
Victor Martinez had 6 home runs against the Yankees. Served the other way. Different spring training for Phil Hughes this year. Last year he had a battle to make the team, specifically the rotation. This year he knew he was penciled in as one of the top 3 starters. The Yankees were concerned with picking their 4th and 5th starters, so Phil could work on things.
Now, if you look at today's Tiger lineup, Maglio Ordonez, regular right fielder, is out of the lineup. He fractured an ankle last year, and Jimmy Leland has given him a day off. They actually started to bother him yesterday. Ordonez only played in 84 ball games, but when you look at Ordonez, Cabrera, and Martinez, 3 of the best hitters ever to come out of Venezuela, all in one lineup, 3, 4, and 5.
Hughes took too much time getting the sign from Martin, so Martinez called time.
Here's Maglio, just behind hitting coach Lloyd McClendon. And you look at Ordonez, there's only been one other player from Venezuela who's hit more home runs than him, and that is Andres Galarraga, the big cat. But I got a feeling that Miguel Cabrera is going to pass all of them.
Two 2-0 Tigers on Miguel Cabrera's 2-run home run. Just underway here at the stadium. The 1-2. Count 2-2.
Trying to get up and in with the little cutter there, and that one was down and in. Couldn't get him to chase. The guy has power. Victor Martinez, pretty tough hitter to strike out.
Ground ball to third, out to Rodriguez. The long throw, and they get Martinez for the final out. But the Tigers jump out to a lead. 2 runs on 2 hits. It's the Tigers 2 and the New York Yankees coming to bat. Nothing. Let's take a look at today's Yankees starting lineup presented by Lexus. Brett Gardner's in left field. He's going to lead off, batting second, and playing shortstop, the captain, Derek Jeter. Mark Teixeira, back-to-back days with 3-run home runs, will be at first, batting third. Cleaning up, playing third base, his first home run of the year yesterday, Alex Rodriguez. Robinson Cano at second will bat fifth. Batting sixth and playing right field, Nick Swisher. Jorge Posada will DH. He's going to hit seventh. Batting eighth and playing center field, Curtis Granderson. And Russell Martin will catch. He's going to bat ninth.
26-year-old right-hander Max Scherzer on the mound for the Detroit Tigers. He's got good stuff. Got a good hard fastball, decent breaking ball. These are his numbers from a year ago. 31 starts, 12-11, 3.50. You can see a pretty good strikeout pitcher. 184 strikeouts, 195 and 2/3 innings. Opponents hit 244 against him. Let's check out the scouting report with young Mr. Scherzer. Holy Toledo. Now, last year, he started with the Tigers, got sent out to their AAA club, Toledo. A couple of starts, and he was back. And he saw the light in Toledo. Really started pitching well when he came back to Detroit. He was the Detroit Pitcher of the Month for both July and August. And beat the clock refers to when he first was signed. He signed with 1 minute to go into the limit for his signing with the Arizona Diamondbacks. He signed a multi-million-dollar deal, and his teammates in the minor leagues were calling him Max a Million. But they were off by 3. It should have been Max 4 million.
There's Brett Gardner. And there's a strike.
That was his signing bonus.
Now, he was sent down to Toledo because in his first 8 starts, he had a 7.29 ERA. And they weren't that concerned because they felt it was a mechanical adjustment. And the adjustment was they wanted him to get his hand on top of the ball. Sometimes pitchers drop their hand sideways and the ball runs. And you can see what that adjustment did after May 30th, 11-7, with an ERA of 2.46. Strike 3, Gardner down looking. Let's take a look at the Tigers defense, brought to you by your Mercedes-Benz Tri-State dealer. In the outfield, Rayburn, Jackson, and Kelly. That's left to right. In the infield, Inge, Peralta, Santiago, and Cabrera third to first. Victor Martinez is behind the plate. And Max Scherzer is on the mound. Well, here's the captain, Derek Jeter. His first 2 hits of the season yesterday. Now has 2,928. 72 away from 3,000. Pitch is low.
He's 2 away from just about everybody he passes on the all-time list. He's a Hall of Famer now. Needs 1 hit. He's tied with Al Simmons. He's a Hall of Famer. And he's 2 away from Jake Beckley and Rogers Hornsby.
Isn't that something? Playing roulette. A 1-1.
When you think about the type of hitters he's in line with right now, Rogers Hornsby was a career 358 hitter and hit 400 3 times in his career. That was back in the 20s. And Jake Beckley goes back further than that. He played with the Reds and the Pirates, Cardinals. Started in 1880. And I thought, when I was looking him up, I thought the impressive number for him was 244 triples.
Count 2-2.
You look at Scherzer's delivery, it's kind of helter-skelter. Oh, here's the list. Yeah. Bonds, Frank Robinson. Some modern day players.
Jeter's working the count full.
One thing Scherzer does have problems with from time to time is his release point. It looked like he was a little off balance with that last delivery. Just kind of spiked it down and away. Kind of a herky-jerky delivery. But he does have a live arm.
Grounded softly to third. Inge. Jeter hustling down the line, but Inge gets him for the second out.
Here's a side view of the emotion of Max Scherzer. A little turn and looks straight down. Now gathers himself, picks up the target. It kind of falls off the first base side. Here it is in yes mode. This is how they actually break it down. Pitching coaches break down deliveries just to see that everything. It's amazing how every pitcher has his own way of delivering the baseball. All with the trying to get the ball down and away from hitters.
Mark Teixeira, 2 games in a row with home runs. A far cry from last year. He didn't hit his first home run 12 games into the season. And he hit in the 130s for the month of April. But he's become the first Yankee since Matsui in 2005 to home run the Yankees' first 2 games of the year. And now he has himself probably a single. They'll hold him to a single. Kicked out to Don Kelly. So Mark Teixeira's work during the offseason and extra work in spring training paying off as he's getting off to a good start.
Yeah, meaningfully a 3-game hitting streak now to start the season. This is a rocket down the first baseline that Cabrera had no chance at. In fact, Teixeira hit the ball so hard he kind of held himself to a single. As the ball is going to carry him off the wall and out to Don Kelly in right field, almost directly at him. It pays to take geometry in high school, play the angles. Here it is in Yesmo. Yesmo getting a workout today. Isn't that just a beautiful swing?
Here's Alex Rodriguez, another pretty good-looking swing. And there's a strike at his first home run of the year last game. That was yesterday. The game was on Fox. He now has 614 home runs in his career. You know, if you want to compare starts to a season, Kenny mentioned that Teixeira has a 3-game hitting streak. Last year he started the season 3 for 36. This year he's 3 for 8. That's what he's done against the Tigers so far. The 0-2. That one's drilled deep to left field. Going back, Rayburn on the track, he leaps and he makes the play. What a play by Ryan Rayburn, and he took an extra base hit away from Alex Rodriguez. So Rodriguez hit a P out to left field, but Rayburn got a good jump, went over the shoulder, and hauled it in. A-Rod thought he got it, but Rayburn got it instead. No runs a hit, no errors, and 1 man left. Great play by Rayburn as we go to the second. Question is, who do you think is going to win the American League Central? You can text us at 58772. Standard text messaging rates apply, and your choices are the teams in the Central.
Who do you think, Michael?
I think the Twins again.
This is my pick. Right on top. Chicago White Sox. I think they got it this year.
The 1-0.
I just think they have a big-time offense. And to me, one of the keys for them is Jake Peavy. If he can give them anything, I think they got a chance to win. The Tigers will be involved, certainly the Twins. It's going to be a great race. I think the White Sox will do.
Soft ground ball to short. Jeter's there. 1 out. Well, the Twins are coming into town tomorrow. Yankees will play them 4 games starting tomorrow. IOTV offers incredible HD picture and sound. Get the best in HD free. IOTV is the official HD service provider of Yankees baseball on Yes. Here's Don Kelly. Beautiful day here at the stadium. And there's a strike. April weather is so unpredictable. Sometimes it's cold, sometimes it's just a beautiful day. This is a nice day for baseball. Yankees came out, they took batting practice. The Tigers elected not to today. Now, the ones that did take BP, it was totally optional. They could if they wanted to. And a couple of them came out to take some hacks, but the team as a whole did not have to take BP. The 2-1.
The thing about this day and age, Michael, in the modern stadiums, there's facilities underneath near the locker rooms over where the clubhouses are that the teams can actually take batting practice. So when you do have the bad weather days, players can still get their hitting in.
The 2-2. Still 2-2.
Kelly getting a start in right field today. He and Rayburn sort of out of the same mold. Rayburn playing left field. They're both veteran players. Spent majority of their careers in the minor leagues. But getting a chance here in the big leagues with the Detroit Tigers.
Phil Hughes deals. Foul back. Tigers 81 and 81 last year. They're 0-2 so far this season. Now they were 52 and 29 at Comerica Park. And their problems came on the road when they wore those road grays. The exact opposite, 29 and 52 on the road.
That's one of the best home records in the league.
And one of the worst road ones. 3-2. Missed outside, so Don Kelly walks. Well, we mentioned the Twins are coming to town. The Yankees will host them the first of a 4-game set tomorrow. Coverage starts at 6 with Audi batting practice today, followed by the Tri-State Ford pregame. Then after the game, don't miss the season premiere of WB Mason Presents, The Joe Girardi Show. It all starts tomorrow at 6, only on Yes. Here's Johnny Peralta.
Now, Joe gives you a breakdown on what's happened so far and also a look ahead to the...
Well, we did mostly overview in terms of spring training, big questions this year, and the first couple of games of the season.
Okay.
And then fans got a chance to either tweet, Facebook, or email us, and they asked Joe questions themselves. So the Joe Girardi Show debuts tomorrow. There's a fly ball to center. Peralta makes the second out.
Very informative for all you fans out there. Michael certainly asks the right questions every week. Joe ever get mad at you for some of the questions?
He gets mad at me a lot, but nothing to do with the questions. No, he's fine. It's done early, which he likes. And he's usually up by 5 hours by about 9 o'clock anyway. Here's Brandon Inge. Foul back.
Inge has been with the Tigers longer than any other player. This is his 8th full season. You know he's got to be down a little bit. VCU getting knocked out of the tournament.
He's in the VCU Hall of Fame. He was inducted in 2004.
He was a shortstop pitcher. Used to come in and close the games.
They hung in till the end, then Butler pulled away, and UConn continues its amazing run. So it'll be UConn against Butler tomorrow night. UConn has only lost 9 games all year, and every single one of the games was to a Big East club. They were 9-9 in the Big East, undefeated against everybody else.
I think in VCU's run, they beat at least one team from every major conference to get to the point to get to the Final Four. So all those big time conferences like the Big 12 and the Big East and the ACC and the SEC took it on the chin from VCU.
And one other thing about UConn, their best player, about 10 minutes away from where he grew up, Kemba Walker, in the Soundview section of the Bronx. The 2-2. Brendan Inge signed a new contract during the offseason, 2 years, $11.5 million. He had just been working on a 4-year, $24 million deal, and during that deal, he hit .231, which isn't great, but it wasn't a great free agent market last year. So they like him. They like the way he goes about his game, and they re-signed him.
Yeah, solid defender at third base.
Pop up, right field. Boy, that ball carried. As Nick Swisher makes the play on the warning track for the final out of the inning. Wind is blowing out that way. We'll have to keep an eye on it. Tiger Strand 1. We go to the bottom of the second. Brought to you by Acela Express. Enjoy the journey. We mentioned 4 games against the Twins, 3 night games, and then Thursday a 105 game. Then on Friday, the Yankees will help the Red Sox open their home season with a 2:05 start in Boston, and we'll have that game on Yes. Then Fox on Saturday, ESPN on Sunday. Then the Yankees back home after that, an off day next Monday. Robinson Cano will step in and lead off the second inning against Max Scherzer. Fouled away. Now you saw when Nick Swisher caught that ball, he looked at Curtis Granderson and said, wow, that really carried. And you see the flags over the grandstand of third base, and they are pointed straight out that way. So the ball might have some carry to right field.
Nick's on deck. He might want to take advantage of that if he can.
And then the flags on the right field grandstand, they are pointing straight out. Now sometimes flags can be deceiving. They were in the old Yankee Stadium because it swirls. So the flags above the stadium could be blowing one way, but it swirls within the stadium and goes another. So it's according to how high the ball goes. And that was a very high pop-up, and it went all the way to the warning track.
Different flags up there this year.
Grounded to first. 1 out. I like what they've done with the flags again this year. Last year it was all of the years that the Yankees have won World Series, which was great. But this year it's back to what it was in the old days, and they have the flags of all the teams. And somebody has to go up there every single day, Kenny. Today it was me, and you have to change every single flag and put it in the order of the standings in each division.
Well, I guess that means it's Flaherty tomorrow because I'm leaving today. So
that's right.
Yeah.
The Yankee one's the first one I put up, and then the Orioles, Toronto.
According to the standings.
The Red Sox have kind of stumbled out of the gate, as have Tampa Bay. Nick Swisher doesn't take advantage of the wind, but he does slice a single to left field.
The one thing I've noticed about Nick this year, he's hitting the ball with more authority to the left field side of second base, batting left-handed. You see the movement on the fastball. The ball's moving that way. It's best to try and hit it that way. And Nick Swisher with the solid line drive to left field for the base hit. He also picked up a sac fly earlier this year. The ball hit well to the opposite field. A lot of hits on the other side of second base. If you try and pull those sinkers, usually hit a ground ball to second.
Here's Jorge Posada. One hit for Jorge so far this year. 2 walks. That one's driven to right field. It's deep. Kelly back. See ya. Tie game. Into the second deck. Posada goes yard. And the Yankees have tied it at 2.
Scored 18 runs this season, and 13 of them have come as the result of a home run. First pitch he sees is right in his wheelhouse. We've seen this swing for years, and the results, runs for the Yankees. In this case, a 2-run homer.
Curtis Granderson takes outside.
Jorge, once you hit it, you know it's gone. And so did everybody else on the bench. It certainly has the crowd buzzing.
And that was such a low line drive, Kenny. I don't think the wind affected that.
Look out!
And it gets Nick Kelleher as he tried to skip out of the way.
Anderson rips this one and just got a piece, but not solid contact though. It's a little quicker than you think.
As Granderson down on strikes. I want to remind everybody, we said that the Yankees play the Twins for 4 games here at the stadium. And then next weekend at Fenway, the Friday game, game coverage and post game all on Yes. But then the Fox game and the ESPN game, both of those games immediately following them, post game coverage on Yes. We're all over it. So remember that every single game, we are all over all year with post game coverage. So after the game's over, switch right back to us. Count 0-1 to Russell Martin. Now 0-2.
Know if all the fans are aware of the fact that well, we've mentioned it before that Martin is a native of Quebec, and he still lives there. He lives in Old Montreal, beautiful part of that city. A lot of various shops and boutiques, and nice little places where they have a nice quiet dinner.
Shouldn't he be Russell Martin then?
Russell Martin.
Martin.
Yeah, probably is in Montreal. Shouldn't he be carrying a hockey stick? Now, he told me he used to listen to me when I was doing radio for the Expos, along with my then partner Dave Van Horn, who's going into the Hall of Fame this
year.
So
they put the radio in his crib and then he listened?
Yeah, I see where you're going.
There's a base hit for Russell Martin.
Yeah, I've been here a while, haven't I? Russell Martin picked 67 career stolen bases, and the other day he had a stolen base in the opener. He stole third base against the Tigers, and that set me to thinking, when's the last time a Yankee catcher stole third base, and it was quite a while back. You have to go back to Jorge Posada. April 19, 2000, stole third base, and before Posada, Thurman Munson, August the 12th of 1975. The last times that the Yankee catcher has stole third base. But Martin, at one time, I think he had over 21 year for the Dodgers. He draws some attention.
Now, Brett Gardner obviously is known for stealing bases, and he said that he was very impressed with Russell Martin's steal.
I was surprised. I couldn't believe what I saw. I said, "Oh my goodness!" And got over to third base with one out, and that's part of the game.
And it is now part of the Yankees game. They're going to run more this year. They want to add that dimension to a power-laden lineup, guys that can run, and they've got them.
Well, in this case, you wouldn't be surprised to see Joe Girardi start Martin, and Gardner hits the ball well to the opposite field. You wouldn't be afraid to put on a hit and run, and this would be a good count. Well, there's 2 outs, though. With a 1-out situation, you'd probably see it even more. But with a 1-0 count, that's the type of count. You want the hitter ahead on the count, so the pitcher has to throw a strike.
Hot shot up the middle. Grabbed there by Santiago. They get the force at second, and that will do it. But the Yankees tie the score. The Tigers got their 2 runs on one swing. The Yankees return the favor. A 2-run shot by Jorge Posada. Let's go to the third. Knotted at 2. Tomorrow's starting pitchers brought to you by Verizon Fios. Get the ultimate in entertainment on the Ultimate Network. Fios, a network ahead. Scott Baker goes to the Twins, 12-9, 4.49, and Ivan Nova makes his first start last year, 1-2, 4.50. Our coverage will begin at 6 with the batting practice show, 6:30 pre, 7:07 first pitch. Well, they've got the 2 runs back for Phil Hughes, and on the link scoreboard you see it's a 2-2 game, top of the order, and Austin Jackson at the plate. Strike. Now, Austin flat out to center in the first inning, but he has 5 strikeouts this series so far. And I told you he had 170 last year, which led the American League. And I talked to him on Friday about the strikeouts. Is it something he's working on because he didn't have that many home runs? And he said, you know what? I talked about it so much last year. He said that I was struck out before I came to the plate, especially with 2 strikes. All I kept thinking in my head, strikeout, strikeout, strike. I said, I'm just accepting it, and if they slow down a bit as my career moves on, okay. He said, but strikeouts are part of the game, and I'm not even going to talk about it this year. The count 3-2. But I think the thing where it becomes a bit of a concern, he's a leadoff guy, and if he's not hitting a lot of home runs, 170 is too many. That one is drilled down the left field line. It is a foul ball. I mean, we talk about, Reggie Jackson used to strike out a lot, but Reggie Jackson would hit you 40 home runs a year, so you could take the strikeouts. But when you're a leadoff guy and you only have 4 home runs, and Kenny, that's 170 times you're not doing anything at the plate.
Yeah, well, you're not getting on base. He has the ability to steal bases and make things happen that way. And when you do strike out, you don't make anything happen. You don't advance base runners.
Just missed outside, so now Jackson could run.
He took a close pitch there.
High pitch count on Phil Hughes, 53 pitches and just starting the 3rd inning.
Now let's see if as Larry Rothschild, the new Yankee pitching coach, looks on. Let's see if Jimmy Leland going to use Jackson's speed here and Santiago's ability to put the bat on the ball. Here is Gene Lamont, who's been a coach for Jimmy Leland for many, many years. We go all the way back to the Pittsburgh Pirates when they were together.
There's a strike. Gene Lamont will go through the signs. Santiago with a fly ball to right field in the 1st.
Santiago is more of the utility player for the Tigers now. He's short or second. So he gets to start at second base. Will Rhymes getting the day off, at least to this point.
The 0-2. Now we're watching Phil Hughes' velocity. He's around 90, 91. And in spring training, there was some concern because he was 87, 88. He didn't doubt that it would go higher with the adrenaline of the regular season. So he's not up to 93, but he is around 90, 91. The 1-2. Blocked there by Martin.
Yeah, the one thing you talked about, the high pitch count thus far, Michael. We're only in the he's got 57 pitches. And we're in the 3rd inning. And one of the reasons that happens is because Phil Hughes gets a lot of foul balls once he gets 2 strikes. Hitters foul pitch after pitch off. We saw that in the at bat with Don Kelly, who eventually walked last inning. And last year, early in the season, it appeared to me that Phil Hughes, once he got 2 strikes on hitters, he just put them away. Either pop up, fly ball, or strike out. But now he's getting a lot of foul balls like that. And it keeps the at bat going and keeps his pitch count climbing. He's got a good cutter that he uses to get on the hands of left-handed hitters.
And now the count is 4-3-2.
You got to figure that Jackson will be on the move, try and stay out of the double play.
There have been 18 foul balls so far against Hughes. Runner goes, drilled to right, foul. Now Phil Hughes, a right-hander, you don't run that much against him. Phil has not allowed a stolen base since August 9th of last year. Not one during the winter either. 26 pitches in the 1st, 20 in the 2nd, 14 here in the 3rd, still nobody out. Runner goes again. Lofted to left field. Gardner will make the catch. And Jackson moves back to 1st. popped up and out of play. Well, the Tigers are making Hughes work. They already have 6 at-bats of 7 or more pitches. Bosch with a single right in the first inning, and then he scored on Miguel Cabrera's home run.
Now those pickoff throws, you can see that Jackson's having no problem getting back, but what they do is they take a little spring out of his step, and it would give Russell Martin a little bit better chance to throw him out in case Jackson takes off. He had over 20 steals last year, and he looks like he's thinking about it. He's leaning.
Looked like a pitch out, but somebody didn't know the sign. Either Russell thought he put down pitch out, or Phil missed it, because Russell was moving to the left and the ball was almost over the plate.
Yeah, there was a mix up there. You can see Russell Martin step to the side, anticipating the ball being out there for him, but he held the glove there trying to get a strike. That's how close it was to the strike zone. Pitch was a little high to Bosch.
Now, last year with the Dodgers, injury-shortened year, Russell Martin threw out 30.6% of all base stealers, and that was the 7th best percentage in the majors. As a team, the Yankees allowed 88.8% success rate on the bases, the worst in the majors.
You know, Joe Girardi has said that he's been impressed with Martin. He's done everything that they've asked. He's blocked balls in the dirt. Remember, Martin was coming back from knee surgery in spring training. The Yankees kind of treated him with kid gloves right at the very start, but now he's ready on an everyday basis.
Runner goes, swung on a miss, throw to second, not in time. Stolen base for Jackson.
That is the first stolen base of the season for the Detroit Tigers. Jackson leaning, got a good jump, takes a look to see what happened at the plate. Bosch had swung and missed. There's a tag by Jeter, but the right foot got in there. Swing and miss on a cutter. Throw is on the bag, maybe a little low. There it is in yes. Watch the right foot. It gets in there ahead of the tag.
Another foul ball against Hughes. Pitch count at 65. Two game. Looped into center field, coming on Granderson. It will dunk in front of him for a hit. Jackson's coming around third. He's going to try to score, and he is in there. Right ahead of the sweep tag by Russell Martin, RBI single by Bosch, and the Tigers lead a 3-2.
There are many players in this league who would have thrown out on that play by Granderson, but Jackson may be the fastest of all the Detroit Tigers. And a good throw by Granderson, and watch the tag attempt by Russell Martin, who digs it out of the dirt on a short hop. I'm impressed by this, but he scoops it like a first baseman, then swings around with the tag, but Jackson's too quick and scores.
So the Tigers retake the lead, and here's Miguel Cabrera. Had a 2-run home run in the first inning against Hughes. Foul play.
Cabrera won the Silver Slugger Award last year. That represents the best hitter at your position in the league. And you think about first baseman, every year you're going to have a lot of competition.
Cabrera's just a good hitter. Second in average last year, third in home runs, first in ribbies, first in on-base percentage, second in slugging. We mentioned earlier he finished second in the MVP voting to the Rangers' Josh Hamilton. That one's drilled to left field. He's done it again. A long 2-run home run off the bat of Miguel Cabrera, and the Tigers lead 5-2. back-to-back home runs for Cabrera, and that sends Rothschild to the bullpen phone.
He is driven in 4 of the 5 runs. I'll tell you, this pitch is almost the same location as the first home run. This is up, and look how quick he gets the bat through the zone. I was supposed he had pitched that would jam him, but he would have none of it. He is now 7 for 14 against Hughes with 3 home runs in his career. Wow.
We might get a look at Bartolo Colon today as Hughes is struggling. Pitch to Victor Martinez. There's a strike. And the early word is that Bartolo Colon really warms up quickly. The 1-1. There's a strike. And there he is. 2005 Cy Young Award winner. Made the team out of spring training. Really an impressive spring. And the 0-2. Popped up. Derek Jeter puts it away for the second out. Cabrera's 19th career multi-home run game. A 2-run shot first, and here a 2-run shot in the third. Here's Ryan Rayburn. And a strike.
You know, both those home runs landed not far to about the same area. Out there in the second level of the bleachers.
I think Paul O'Neill calls that area State Farmville. Right over the State Farm sign.
Well, Cabrera's turned.
I think the second one.
Yeah, Cabrera's. You gotta hope that those are good hands people out there.
Well, 22 of his last 27 home runs that Hughes has allowed have come right here at Yankee Stadium. And let's see what part of State Farmville it landed in.
Yeah, that guy didn't have the good hands. I had it and it got away.
Swing and a miss. Rayburn down on strikes. But a leadoff walk always comes back to haunt you. Tigers scored 3. Miguel Cabrera with a 2-run shot in the first inning. Then after a run was here in the third, he did it again. Another 2-run shot. All adds up to 5-2 Tigers. In the heat in Newark. Complete coverage starts at 5:30 with the Nets pregame. Then Ian Eagle and Mike Fratello bring you the call from courtside. The Heat, the Nets. It all starts tonight at 5:30. Only on Yes. Busy day on Yes. Lincoln scoreboard 5-2. The Tigers, a lot of the damage off the bat of Miguel Cabrera. Two-run home runs off Phil Hughes.
You know, Michael, I think I did this. I was listening to the North Carolina game. I think they're playing Kentucky during the NCAA tournament. And I was driving around listening, and it was Ian Eagle on the radio. He was awesome. What an awesome call of a game.
He's pretty good.
Yeah.
And also, like me, has never had a condiment in his life.
You got to be kidding.
No. The 0-1. Slow roller, right side. Santiago will get Jeter for the second or the first out.
No mustard?
No.
Relish?
Nope. I also don't think he's ever had a salad.
What is this?
It's two very strange play-by-play guys. Here's Mark Teixeira. He hit a hot shot single right inside the first baseline in the first inning. So Scherzer now has himself a 3-run lead. Let's see if he can hold this.
Well, Phil Hughes is going to need that run support that Soaf got last year.
High fly ball, right field. Kelly back, track, wall, lead. See ya! Third straight game with a home run from Mark Teixeira. This one a solo shot as the Yankees lead, or they trail now 5-3.
Like some sort of off-speed pitch from Scherzer. Had Teixeira slightly out in front. Yep, it looked like a changeup away, and he still got enough of it. We told you the wind is, at least Michael did, the wind is blowing that way. And it carried to about the third row, and I'm not sure who got the ball, but it's a home run for Mark Teixeira.
We're in the third inning. We've already seen 4 home runs, 2 by Cabrera, 1 by Posada, 1 by Teixeira. His third home run this year. He had 2 all of last April. He didn't hit his third home run until May 8th of last year.
It's more than a month ahead of schedule.
Joe Girardi told me today, he said every day he would get into spring training, whether it was later or after a game, Mark Teixeira would be in the batting cage against Iron Mike and just keep hitting and hitting. And so far it's paying off. Now, Iron Mike obviously is a pitching machine that they have in the back cages, and the IOTV HD Super Shot, pretty nice.
Yeah, pretty nice, but you could see that that was all upper body because he had really made a lot of movement, shifted his weight, and still got enough of it to get it out. Strong hitters do that.
4 hits for Teixeira so far this early year, and he has 3 home runs of the 4. Strike 3, A-Rod down looking.
Third strikeout of the game for Scherzer, and good job by Victor Martinez of bringing that ball back and getting the call. It's close. Let's see if it actually clips the corner.
Not from that angle.
Yeah, maybe.
So here is Robinson Cano. High fly ball. Down the right field line. Kelly on the track at the wall. See ya! That one just sneaks into the first row, right down the line, the short porch and right. And the Yankees have pulled to within 1.
This might turn into home run derby today. Cano's first of the year, and once again a boost from the wind. Looked like a cutter or a slider down at the end. He wasn't sure. You saw the look on his face. He felt he didn't get enough. Here's Kelly's leap. Second row for Robinson Cano. Just get it up in a breeze and let it go.
Well, it was easy to get the scouting read on the way the wind was carrying the ball when you saw that pop-up that took Swisher all the way to the warning track, and now it's paying off for the Yankees. Here's Nick Swisher, and there's a strike. 3 games so far at the stadium this year, 12 home runs. 5-4 Tigers. That one is lined to right field. It's a base hit. Don Kelly getting a workout out there as Swisher's now 2 for 2.
The Yankee offense has been very impressive in the early going here.
Well, scoring runs for Phil Hughes, nothing strange for the Yankees. Last year they scored 6.5 runs per game for him, and that's the most of any pitcher in baseball.
And for those fans who might have missed the batting practice show today, Michael, we gave sort of like an overview of the Yankee offense so far this year, and today, more of the same.
Now, it's very tough to steal on Scherzer. 30 attempted it last year, 13 were caught. The most caught by any American League pitcher, and Ubaldo Jimenez also had 13 caught against him. That one is laced into left field. It's hanging up there, and it allows Rayburn. No, he dropped the ball. Swisher's going to third. He'll make it. Posada to second, and he'll make it. The ball hung up there for Rayburn, but he couldn't hold on to it. So now the Yankees have runners on second and third with 2 outs.
He's there. He looks like it's about chest high, in and out. Heartbreak. Ball drops. Had a chance to get Swisher third, but hustling with 2 outs. He makes it. Posada hustling on the back end, and he's there. And this is going to be an error. That should have been fun. Remember Jim Cotton used to say, this is the big leagues. You got to catch that. Here's Swisher with 2 outs off of the crack of the bat. Almost stumbles coming around second. Turns on the Jets. He's in there easily. And Posada just ahead of the throw at second.
Here's Granderson. Granderson struck out in the second inning.
Great camera work on that play to show both Swisher at third. Understand that was Dave Chaffee. Way to go, David.
Check swing, and it gets away from Martinez. Both runners stay put. Although Posada was halfway to third.
You know, now that Jorge's DH, he's well rested when he gets on the bases, man. He's ready to go. Here's Martinez, not far enough away, just off of the dirt portion onto the grass. Here's Swisher thinking about it. Look at Posada.
Very frisky.
Oh, my goodness. All kinds of energy this year.
There's a strike. Tying run is at third. Go-ahead run is at second. Phil Koch up in the bullpen for the Tigers. The 2-1. Blew a fastball right by him, 2-2. He was a former Yankee. Came in and gave up the home run to Granderson on opening day. That broke a 3-3 tie. Russell Martin's on deck. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, 2 on. Just missed inside. Cranked it up there to 94 miles an hour. Scherzer, a former #1 draft pick for the Diamondbacks, 11th overall in the first round. Grounded foul, and he actually came to the Tigers in that three-way deal, which involved Curtis Granderson coming to the Yankees. So a little part of that deal facing off right here. And there is that deal. Tigers got Scherzer, Jackson, Koch, and Schlereth. Austin Jackson. They traded Edwin Jackson and Ian Kennedy to the Diamondbacks. Kennedy obviously came from the Yankees as part of that deal. The 3-2. Popped up. Shallow right. And Kelly makes the play. Hey, it's been some opening series for Mark Teixeira. Historically, a slow starter. On opening day, he got started. A 3-run home run gave the Yankees a lead. Yesterday, a 3-run home run. Today, a solo shot. 5-4 Tigers. Quit line quiz, it's very, very prevalent. Mark Teixeira's homered in the first 3 games of the season, very up to date. Who is the only other Yankee that hit a home run in the first 3 games of a season? There's a strike. We'll tell you that in the bottom of the inning.
You think of all the great sluggers the Yankees have had over the years, that could be a tough get.
Kelly lost one to shallow right. Cano makes the play for the first out. Obviously, they're going to let Phil Hughes try to pitch through his struggles. Bartolo Colon sat down after Hughes struck out Rayburn to end the third.
Nice off-speed breaking ball that had Kelly out in front, popped him up.
It was Johnny Peralta. They got Johnny mid-season last year from the Indians. Then during the offseason, signed him to a 2-year, $11 million deal. Locked up the left side of their infield for 2 years, having signed Inge and then Peralta.
I saw Tiger GM Dave Dombrowski here at Yankee Stadium today.
Check swing and looped into left field for a base hit. So a base hit for Peralta.
Yeah, not his ace swing, certainly. That was sort of like a, well, how did that happen? His first base coach Tom Brookins over there at the. Yep.
He tried to check it.
Yeah, that was one of those Steve Martin hits. Excuse me. Tried to check his swing, might have been up in the zone, and still comes away with a base hit. And that's going to get the bullpen going again.
And the pitch to Brandon Inge is a strike. And the Yankees are going to be very cognizant of the fact that Bartolo Colon's not a reliever. He's been a starter his whole career. And if you're going to keep getting him up and down, you're going to get him into a game. Popped up. Cano calls off Teixeira for the second out.
You know, one thing about Phil Hughes, he's got that good high-riding fastball, and he's a fly ball pop-up pitcher. That's one reason why he gives up a lot of home runs. He's not really a pitcher has a good heavy sinker to get some ground balls and get some double plays. In fact, when you look at the scorecard today, there's only been 2 ground ball outs.
Austin Jackson takes outside.
Jackson finished the runner-up to Rookie of the Year, Neftali Feliz of the Texas Rangers, their closer, who the Rangers are thinking about putting in the starting rotation, but changed their minds. He's back to being a closer. Hadn't had much to save in the first 2 games against the Red Sox. Rangers have been scoring a lot of runs.
You know, that debate or that decision started a great debate amongst baseball people. What's more valuable, a #1 starter, which Feliz has the stuff to be, or a shutdown reliever? And a lot of the baseball people that I read, they all felt that it was more important to have a #1 starter. Those are more difficult to find. You can find people with close games.
So the feeling was amongst them that let him be the starter.
Absolutely.
That he would be their best. You know what? He probably would be their best starting pitcher. Leads, of course, with the Texas Rangers.
The 2-2 just missed. Location not quite there for Hughes, and certainly he does not have overpowering stuff today. Put away stuff. Runner's going to go. 3-2. Popped up. 3 pop-ups to the right side. Nick Swisher is there for this one, and he'll put it away for the final out. No runs are hit, no errors, 1 man left. Let's go to the bottom of the 4th inning. Tigers lead the Yankees 5-4. To the New York State Smokers Quit Line quiz. Mark Teixeira has 3 home runs in the Yankees' first 3 games. Who's the only other Yankee that had a home run in the first 3 games? The answer is Dave Winfield. 3 games at Seattle in 1983. Hot shot off the bat of Martin and down the left field line. It'll go into the corner, dug out there by Rayburn. And Martin is going to coast into second with a leadoff double. 2 for 2 for Russell Martin.
Remember, this guy won a Silver Slugger Award with the Dodgers. And if he's going to bat ninth in your order, that shows you what kind of order you have. That pitch is over the inside third, pulls it. Brandon Edge, not even one of the attempt to get to it. As Rayburn's going to have to run it down to the corner. He bobbled it briefly, no chance to get Martin going to second.
Opening day Thursday. Brett Gardner, 2 sack bunts. Does he try to sacrifice Martin over to third or try to pull the ball and maybe get a base hit? Tigers expecting a bunt. Swinging away and fouls it back.
He tried to pull that one.
I actually like that play better, Kenny, because you have a chance to get a hit.
You have a chance to get a hit. And look where Cabrera is at first. Santiago, of course, is up a little bit because of Gardner's ability to bunt. And Inge's in close at third. So with these guys in, if you hit the ball fairly hard, you might get it through.
That's a different story later in the game. If it's the 9th inning, then I understand. But now you want to score some runs. Ball's flying out of here today. Stolen base leaders from last year, brought to us by Delta. Juan Pierre with 67 for the White Sox. Rajay Davis 50 for the A's. And Brett Gardner and Carl Crawford tied with 47. Changes on that list. Davis is on the Blue Jays now. Crawford, of course, on the Red Sox.
Of all those guys, Davis is impressive because he didn't play all the time with Oakland last year. To get 50 steals, he must have attempted a steal every time he got on base last year and made it. We'll get to see more of him this year. He's playing for the Blue Jays.
The 0-2.
Now with 2 strikes, the infielders, of course, have dropped back. Cabrera's now beyond the bag at first. Santiago's back on the grass, and Inge's on the fringe of the ground, near the grass, at third.
Swing and a miss. Gardner doesn't get it done. Goes down on strikes. And he is mumbling to himself as he walks toward the Yankee dugout. So an unproductive at bat.
Jeter, career close to 330 hitter against the Tigers. Always like going back to Michigan. Grew up in Kalamazoo.
Scherzer deals outside. Count 1-0. On with Ken Singleton and Kimberly Jones. Michael Kay here bringing you Yankee baseball on Yes. Thanks for spending part of your Sunday afternoon with us. Count 2-0. I want to deal with Jeter because on deck is the red-hot Mark Teixeira. Two hits for Jeter yesterday. Count 3-0. And the 3-0 pitch inside. So Jeter walks, putting runners on first and second for Teixeira.
Yeah, how important is it base on balls by Derek Jeter? It forces the Tigers to actually pitch to Mark Teixeira and not try and pitch around him and maybe go to A-Rod, feeling they've passed one of them. Although A-Rod's just as dangerous, or even more so at times. Jeter getting on. That means Teixeira's going to at least see some decent pitches to hit here.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the New York Yankees. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. The accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the New York Yankees. Phil Koch's up again. Teixeira single to right and then homer to right. Yankees trail 5-4, bottom of the fourth inning. Count 1-0.
Bill Koch is up just in case this inning gets to Cano with runners on.
But the odd thing about going to Koch against lefties, he doesn't really neutralize lefties that well.
He did neutralize Granderson the other day.
Two other lefties in the bullpen, Brad Thomas and Daniel Schlereth. One ball, one strike, one out. First and second. Count 2-1. It has always been a big source of frustration for Teixeira to get off to such slow starts. Finds himself digging out of a hole the entire season. But we've mentioned this before. He worked so hard during the offseason, took much more BP, and tried to get himself into a May or June sort of swing right off the bat. And one of the problems could be something as simple as when you're a switch hitter, Kenny, you know this, you got to work on two swings when everybody else has to work on one.
Yeah, but you take the extra time, you stay in the cages after long after BP is over, and right now this could be the biggest pitch of the game. If he walks him, he's going to load the bases for A-Rod. If he makes too good a pitch, the way Teixeira's going, he'll probably get hit hard somewhere.
The 3-1. Just missed it. High fly ball to right field. Kelly makes the catch, and Martin doesn't go.
You're right about just missing. Watch the reaction after he hits this. He knows he just missed it, yeah. That was about a quarter of an inch on the bat of being a 3-run homer, driving him a little bit more. That close.
Well, there's no let up in this Yankee lineup, so you get past Teixeira. Now you have to deal with Alex Rodriguez. Alex 0 for 2 today. Lined sharply to left field in the first. Great catch by Rayburn. Then struck out looking in the third. First and second now, 2 outs. Ooh, good fastball.
Good swing.
2 outs and runners in scoring position last year. A-Rod hit 27 points off his season average, or higher than his season average. 297, 2 homers and 31 ribbies.
Let's see if that swing and a miss makes Scherzer and Martinez think about throwing something else. Nope.
95 miles an hour. That's his fastest pitch of the day. Really dialed it up in the count 0-2. Now, do you try to outsmart the batter or say, listen, we got to buy him twice, let's do it 3 times? Or do you go off speed now?
I think you got a couple pitches to work with here. Maybe try and tease him, maybe get him to chase one up and out of the zone or down and away.
The 0-2. Fly ball, right field, Kelly back. This one will stay in the park. He makes the play, and that will do it. So the Yankees threaten here in the fourth, don't get it done. No runs a hit, and 2 men left. We'll go to the fifth. Yankees down by 1. Well, thank you, Bob. Back here at the stadium, Tigers lead the Yankees 5-4, and we're going to get our first look at Bartolo Colon as they will take out Phil Hughes after 4 innings. Now, we're very happy whenever we get a chance to see this next gentleman, and you can see by his apparel that he is a Yankee fan. I think you know that by now. Billy Crystal. Billy, good to see you.
Great to see you, Michael.
How's everything going?
Good, Ken.
All right.
Great to be here.
How's life?
Very good.
Yeah?
And if I'm to share it, it's really good.
Now, we were talking to, we heard you were going to come up to the booth. We were talking about your spring training at bat. You still think about that?
Still, yeah. Well, the 3-1 pitch is the one I want back.
Yeah. Many a hitter has said that.
Yeah.
Many a hitter has said
that. He threw really good, smart, hard pitches to me, which he should have. But, you still wait. I'm 63 now. And I wake up in the middle of the night going, God.
And that, of course, Paul Mahalam of the Pirates. Billy appeared in the spring training game for the Yankees. Here's Bartolo Colon. His first pitch for the Yankees is outside 1-0. So it's 5-4 Tigers over the Yankees. Ramon Santiago, Brennan Bosch, and Miguel Cabrera against the veteran Bartolo Colon.
I was going to say, Billy, try striking out 1,200 times.
I could.
0 for 2, Santiago today.
Bill, have you had a chance to follow the Yankees through spring training and now into the regular season?
Yeah, it's. I really like the way the team looks. And I sort of don't get the underdog thing that they're talking about.
I don't get it either.
I don't get it.
I think that's a ruse by Brian Cashman.
Don't you think? Yeah. I look at our lineup, I look at the Red Sox, and I think, well.
There's a base hit to left field. Gardner playing him well, cuts it off, fires in, so a single for Santiago.
Okay, we're the underdogs.
Well, everybody keeps saying, the Red Sox, even Vegas odds makers, the over-under is 100 wins for the Red Sox.
Right.
They've only done it 3 times in their history, and the last time in 1946, so I guess you could say they're due.
They're an awfully good team, but this is a pretty great team that I'm watching, too.
Well, they ran into the American League champs the first 2 days and down in Texas, and Nolan Ryan's got things going on with that ball club.
Here's Brennan Bosch. Bosch was 2 for 2 against Phil Hughes. Santiago leads off. Oops. That one hit deep to right field.
Oops.
No chance. That ball is gone. A 2-run home run for Bosch. High, towering drive into the second deck, and the Tigers now lead 7-4.
I'm going to come back.
I'll tell you, Bosch.
He's a big kid.
Yes, he is. He had a great first half last year. For some reason, he slumped off in the second half. But he's got the ability to really make things. That's right in the middle of the plate. And the way the wind is blowing today, out towards right field, just get it up in the breeze and let it go. Give it a semi-charge. This is in the second deck.
Here's Miguel Cabrera, 2 for 2, both home runs. And Bosch now 3 for 3, so quite a Sunday for him. 7-4 Tigers lead. And there's a strike. Billy, what are you up to work-wise?
Tomorrow I'll be on the Daily Show with Jon Stewart, which is we're going to announce something. It's going to debut on Funny or Die, which is a fantastically funny website that Will Ferrell created. And there's this little 5-minute movie. I can't tell you much more about it because it's going to be a surprise. So it's going to debut April 6th on Funny or Die. So I'm going to be on John's show tomorrow talking about it.
And that's funnyorDie.com.
.com,
As Miguel Cabrera, nothing funny about that called strike 3.
And right now we're in the middle of doing Monsters Incorporated 2 for Pixar, which it's going to be hilarious. Yeah. John Goodman and I and all the people who were in the first one.
Here's Victor Martinez. Now this is the 50th anniversary of 1961. You had the great movie. You guys doing anything with the movie?
Yeah, well, this is the 61 jacket. This is the team jacket from 61, which was part of our wardrobe for the movie. And we're talking, I was just meeting with Debbie Timon and Randy Levine about doing something special perhaps here at the stadium to honor the 50, I can't believe it's 50 years
oh my goodness.
of the home run, which was against the Red Sox. And that's one of the last series that's in the ballpark this fall. So we'll hopefully have the Maris family and the Mantle boys here and do something to honor that great feat.
Billy, that was such a great movie that you did. I always thought it could have been a theatrical release. It was on HBO. But does that movie now seem different to you through the prism of the record breaking that really was tainted?
It's very interesting because the movie opens and closes with Mark McGwire. And we've screened it a few times for big audiences, most recently at the Hall of Fame in October when we were honored at the Hall of Fame. And there's a very kind of uneasiness that comes over the audience when they see McGwire at the end of the movie talking about my bat will rest with Rogers and how proud he is. And he's crying. And I know it was emotional for him, but you look at it and you go, was he feeling guilty? How was he feeling then? Did he know that he had used performance-enhancing drugs and it wasn't really legit? So it gives a whole different spin on the movie. And now with this trial, the Barry Bonds trial, it focuses even more on the great feat of Roger. Maybe the asterisk that's attached to 61 means most home runs hit by somebody not using PEDs.
There's that classic swing, Roger Maris from the 1961. Billy, I grew up around New York and I saw a lot of Yankee baseball. That was the year that made me want to be a baseball player. Just watching the Yankees and Roger and Mickey Mantle, and of course through the movie, it's kind of made me relive my childhood. Well, thank you.
That was the part of the joy of doing the movie. Was I was like Rain Man on the set. I knew where everything was, and the right field fence was 6 inches too high when we came. We did it in Detroit at the old Tiger Stadium because it physically looked like old Yankee Stadium, and then we added to it a great design, production design. And I was like just like Rain Man. No, it was only 3 feet high. 3 feet high. That was the fence, 3 feet high. I knew every pitcher was, who everything. It was, and to see those guys in these uniforms, in the great old uniform, there they are now. And it was thrilling to recreate that ballpark.
Now, when you made the movie and they went down to Baltimore during I think the last series, and Roger hit the home run.
Yeah. And
the Oriole manager brought in Hoyt Wilhelm
to pitch to Roger in the ninth inning.
And you had the crook of the neck of Hoyt. You had everything perfect with Hoyt Wilhelm.
Yeah.
It was because he's a great knuckleball pitcher. For fans out here who don't remember Hoyt Wilhelm, he's a Hall of Fame pitcher.
Yeah.
And he threw an unhittable knuckleball, and that's why they brought him in.
And it was a hurricane had come through Baltimore, and the wind was blowing in almost 45 miles an hour from right field. Roger hit 3 shots that night. One was a home run, his 59th. The other 2 just fell short by the wall.
Yeah.
And we recreated Baltimore in the L.A. Coliseum. And we put the field down, the first time the field had been down since the Dodgers put it in. And because it really looked like Old Memorial the stadium, the rounded
They
right
did.
center
That really, I was really
Yeah.
impressed having played there. You know.
Yeah.
Victor Martinez goes down strikes. He is 0 for 3.
So the attention to detail was just amazing for me.
That was part of the. I was 13 years old that year, and I went to more games that season than any time. And to get it right in the colors of that old ballpark, what really made it special was having Old Tiger Stadium, because that was really an old ballpark, and Yankee Stadium didn't look like Yankee Stadium anymore from that time period. And it had pillars, and it had the right colors, and it was thrilling to do that.
Ryan Rayburn 0 for 2. Bartolo Colon in his first inning of relief. And there's a ground ball into the hole. Backhanded by Jeter. The jump past the first. Not in time as Rayburn reaches on the infield single.
And also two incredible actors, Tom Jane and Barry Pepper, to really look like and play like and be like those two guys.
And how long does it take for an actor to realize what the character is really like? And, you know, how long did they actually prepare for the roles?
Well, Tom really knew nothing about Mickey Mantle at all. Tom wasn't really a baseball player or in a baseball, in a baseball mind. So it took him I would say like a month to really absorb all these home movies that I had of Mickey. And I had a great library. HBO really got us some great research, and I had stuff that I had videotaped when I was with Mickey and odd stuff, that would really help him his way in. And then Reggie Smith was our technical director, who was a great switch hitter himself.
Yeah.
And when Tom was signed on to do it, I said, "So you've played, right?" And he went, "I lied to you. I didn't play." So we brought him out to Reggie at a Little League field in Encino, where Reggie has his hitting academy, and he said, "Come back in 2 weeks." Right? And then 2 weeks later, I drove back out, and there's this guy in the outfield. His hair's blonde now. And he said, and he whistled to him, "Mickey, come in." And he ran towards me, and he was limping on the right leg.
Oh, my goodness.
And he greeted me, and then he got into the cage and he had to learn from both sides, righty and lefty.
Yeah.
And he did an extraordinary job. So it was very concentrated. We only had 32 days to shoot the whole movie. And Barry is a really good athlete. And his uncanny resemblance to Roger was amazing. And he just absorbed all of these interviews that we had with Roger, so you could get that Fargo accent and that sort of flat, kind of cold delivery that he had.
Now, how many guys were up for this role? How many people did you interview for these roles?
Well, really, those are the two guys that I wanted from the beginning. And then an interesting sidelight, I had a meeting scheduled with Matt Damon and Ben Affleck. And Matt came, Ben said, "I can't possibly put on a Yankee uniform."
Lifetime Red Sox fan.
Yeah, I haven't spoken to him since. They were the guys.
Well, Bartolo Colon strikes out the side. So, Billy, you have funnyordie.com. That's going to
Wednesday,
April 6th.
April 6th.
And you're going to be on The Daily Show tomorrow
night
with Jon Stewart.
Right.
Always great to see you.
You still married?
Yeah. 7 weeks in 1 day.
Oh, man. What's the record?
7 weeks in 2 days.
Cow. 7 weeks. Holy cow. I'm on the bridge.
Oh, my God. Oh.
Cano with a foul ball on the first pitch of the bottom of the 5th inning, and we are underway. Good to see Billy Crystal.
Great stuff.
That movie was something else.
Yeah, it was.
I mean, he really captured.
The attention to detail was just unbelievable.
It had to be made by somebody who loved the subject matter.
And knew he wanted to get it right.
Billy was with us in the 5th inning. Strange. It was a strange inning for Cologne. He gave up 3 hits, a 2-run home run to Bosch, but he also struck out the side. So the Yankees are down by 3 here as we're halfway through. Cano, Swisher, and Posada. So Scherzer gets a little bit of a reprieve. He's kind of flirted with giving back the lead, but the Tigers keep getting him more runs. Count 1 and 2. Swing and a miss. And Cano down on strikes. So Cano now 1 for 3. Let's check out the Toyota text poll and see what you guys voted. Again, the question, who do you think is going to win the American League Central? You've been texting us at 58772, and here's how you voted. 41% say Minnesota. That's what I feel. 38% say Chicago, which is Kenny's pick. 11% Detroit. And boy, we have a lot of viewers in KC. Nick Swisher fouls it off. You know, a lot of people say that Kansas City is going to struggle, but every baseball publication that you read say that they've got such an infusion of good young players coming up through their system that maybe their long drought could be over. But, you know, with young kids, Kenny, it's hit or miss. Yeah. They could be great in the minors, and up here it doesn't translate.
Yeah, but if we have a stockpile of them, maybe you know, just 40% of them will click.
Now, that's very odd, Kenny. We're in the bottom of the 5th inning. He's got Joaquin Benoit up in the bullpen, and he's really just a 1-inning guy. At least he was last year with Tampa Bay. That's one of their big free agent signings, and it tells you how much Jim Leyland wants this game if he's got Benoit up here in the 5th inning.
You know, if Scherzer looks out and sees somebody warming up, he knows that if somebody comes in this inning, he's not going to get the win. And sometimes it's an old managerial trick. Get somebody up in the bullpen. The starter will see it. I've got the lead. Let me at least get through this inning.
Here's what I don't understand, Kenny. On opening day, on a 3-3 game in the 7th inning, he doesn't have Benoit up then. And he brings in Koch, who gives up the home run to Granderson because he's looking at Benoit as an 8th inning guy.
Yeah, and he's looking at the matchup lefty-lefty. You know, that's.
But as we said, Koch doesn't really neutralize lefties. And Benoit, coming off last year, was great against everybody. Missed inside, so Nick Swisher's on base for the 3rd straight time. 2 singles and this walk. And Jim Leyland stirring.
Here he comes. Oh, just changing position. Wants to change the mojo. But he's on the step. And I'll tell you what, if you're a starting pitcher and you see your manager on the step there, that tells you I better get this next guy out.
There's the breakdown, pitch-wise for Scherzer. He needs to get 2 more outs to qualify for this win. And here's Posada, who had a 2-run home run in the 2nd inning, then reached on an E7 in the 3rd. Two for 8 so far in the early season, with 2 walks. That one's drilled deep to right field. There it goes. See ya. A long home run by Posada. His 2nd Detroit. Kenny admitted you want to grab a bat today.
Just get it up in the breeze. You had to pay a lot of money to hit one more just like this one. Jorge Posada, first 2 home runs of the season. He hit the ball hard when he reached on an error as well.
Pitch to Granderson outside. So 4 home runs allowed is a new career high for Scherzer. And Jorge adapting nicely to his DH role. And there's a strike.
Interestingly enough, folks throwing, Benoit has set down.
Maybe they just had Benoit taking one to the glove. I'm not sure. He only had a 2-inning outing once last year. So it really wouldn't make sense to bring him in the 5th inning. That had to be just taking some to the mid.
Either that or a ruse.
So 7 home runs by these 2 teams. And we're just over halfway through. For Posada, his 17th career multi-hit home run. A multi-home run game. First time since '09 against the Orioles, September 1st. Kind of served the other way. And onto the roof of the dugout.
Kind of a spoiling type swing by Granderson to foul that pitch off. Scherzer spun one up there with a little off speed. Granderson was out in front.
And the count 3-2. Justin Verlander, the opener for the Tigers. Yesterday, Brad Penny got roughed up, and now Max Scherzer. And it's the first time since May 14th of last year that Scherzer has allowed 5 runs. That was 23 starts ago. Or should I say 6 runs, as Granderson down on strikes. So he knows he needs 1 more out to qualify for the win, but you just get the sense this game's not ending in 7-6.
Jimmy Leyland is giving him every opportunity to at least qualify.
And there's a strike to Russell Martin. Martin is 2 for 2. Single to left and then doubled inside the line of third base in the 4th. The 1-1 popped up. So Scherzer does navigate through 5 innings and 5 Yankee home runs. Check that, 4. Let's look at them. Jorge Posada, Mark Teixeira, Robinson Cano, and Posada for good measure goes for a second. 7-6 Tigers. Colon deals to Johnny Peralta for a strike.
Kind of an unusual inning. First 2 hitters, single homer, then 3 strikeouts for Colon last inning. So impressive in spring training, Michael.
Very impressive. Yeah. Battling for one of the 2 starting roles, and those went to Nova and Garcia. That doesn't mean that Colon didn't pitch as well or better than them. But he has not pitched in the big leagues in a couple of years. And the Yankees felt it would be better to have him out of the bullpen. And they weren't quite sure if he'd be able to give them, 30 starts out of a rotation. Only time will tell.
This way his innings are more manageable out of the bullpen.
He had 17 strikeouts in 16 innings with 1 walk in spring training, which is really an incredible ratio, 17-1. Hit 1 batter, allowed 10 hits, 4 earned runs in 16 innings. So a 2.25 ERA in 5 appearances, 4 starts. He did not pitch during the regular season last year in the bigs. That one is served into right field. It's going to be a base hit. Cutting over a swish, cuts the ball off. Beautiful play, holding Peralta to a single. Well, it's certainly been an offensive day today. The Yankees and the Tigers have combined for 13 runs, 18 hits, 7 home runs, 2 apiece by Posada and Cabrera.
That was a nice play by Swisher, because once the ball gets over there and hits on the dirt, that's when it has a tendency to pick up speed, and cuts it off, holds Peralta to a single, keeps the double play in order.
Here's Brandon Inge. There's a strike. Now, we mentioned he did not pitch in the big leagues in 2010. He's had arm issues for a long time, but he did pitch in the Dominican Winter League, where he caught the eye of Yankee scouts. He was 2-1 with a 1.93. Had 28 strikeouts in 37 1/3 innings, and he held opponents to a 167 batting average. And in 2005, he won the Cy Young Award. Went 21-8 with a 3.48. And then in 2002, he did something that only 2 pitchers in Major League history have done. He won at least 10 games in both the American League and National League in one season, the other one being Hank Borowy in 1945. He was 10-4 with Cleveland and then 10-4 with Montreal. Fly ball, right field, Swisher back. And he'll make the play to retire Inge.
It's one of those days when every time a ball is hit towards right field, whether it be Swisher out there or Kelly, you kind of hold your breath if you're the opposition.
Here's Austin Jackson.
The year that he won 10 in each league, he got traded from Cleveland to Montreal and just continued his good pitching in the National League.
That might have cost him a Cy Young Award.
It might have, and also it cost him a trip to the All-Star game, because he was going to make the All-Star team from the American League, and I believe he had a pretty hefty bonus coming to him if he made the All-Star team. He got traded, didn't make the All-Star team for the National League, and bonus was out the window.
Snap throw to first and getting back Peralta. This was actually a great trade for the Indians. I mean, look at the players they got. Cliff Lee, Grady Sizemore, who's been a star there. He's been hurt a lot the last couple of years. Brandon Phillips, a star now with the Reds. Lee Stevens was the one who really didn't pan out.
He was a dangerous hitter. Had some power.
And that deal was not a panic deal, but a last-ditch effort by Omar Minaya, the GM of the Expos, to try to save that team from Montreal.
Yeah.
And he thought that getting a pitcher like Colon would do it. Didn't work out, and it worked out for the Indians, getting those 3 players.
that they could actually win the pennant in Montreal and kind of create more interest, get more fans back in the ballpark, but certainly that didn't happen, and they eventually moved, becoming the Nationals.
And he ends up walking Austin Jackson. Runners on first and second with one out, as Larry Rothschild comes out and tosses with Cologne. Take the Yankees with you wherever you go this season. Subscribe to MLB.tv today to see every Yankees game live or on demand on your computer and your favorite devices. Visit Yankees.com to order. Get more details. MLB.tv. Baseball everywhere. You ordered that, Kenny. You love that, right?
It is fantastic.
And you have it on your iPad.
Yeah, I do. I was watching basketball and baseball at the same time.
So you had the basketball on in the hotel.
Yeah.
And then you had the iPad on your baseball.
Yeah. I was watching the Red Sox in Texas. I watched the Orioles and the Rays. And I could have stayed up even later, but I knew I had to get up early this morning.
That's the way you were as a player, too, right?
What, stay up late?
You didn't stay up late because you had to play the next day.
Yeah.
That one is looped into right field. That's going to be trouble. It's a base hit. Fielding in the corner is Nick Swisher. Peralta scores. Holding at third is Jackson. Ramon Santiago with an RBI double. And the Tigers now lead the Yankees 8-6.
Santiago was out in front. Kept his hands back just enough to get the decent wood on this. If it looked like an off-speed pitch, you can see one hand coming off the bat, and he keeps it fair. Follow through and just serves it down the right field line for a two-base hit. And the Tigers, their hitting continues. They've had at least one hit in every inning of this ball game.
Yankees play the infield back. They'll give up another run. Second and third with one out. Here's Brendan Bosch. 93-mile-an-hour fastball, but he overthrew, and the count 1-0. Bosch has had some day. 3 runs scored. 3 ribbies.
3 hits.
And we told you at the start how bad he was in the second half last year, that the league had caught onto him, and maybe he made adjustments. That's the way you survive. If you don't make adjustments, then you end up leaving. He had 342 in the first half last year, 163 after the All-Star break. 1-1. 1-2. Cologne throwing hard, 93 miles an hour.
Well, he's got Bosch with the 2 strikes. In spring training, we saw from Cologne that spillover fastball, the one that starts at the hip of the left-handed hitter, and all of a sudden spills over the inside corner for call strike 3. Kind of freezes him. Kind of this area right here, trying to get it over to the corner, make the ball look like it's inside. Let's see what they're going to do here. Nope, going away.
And that's lofted to left field. That's going to get a run in. The catch is made by Gardner. Tagging is Jackson. He'll score easily. A sac fly for Bosch. His 4th ribby of the day, and the Tigers now lead 9-6.
He hits the ball hard again. This is more reminiscent of the Bosch that we saw last year. This is trying to keep it away. Maybe thinking is the way the ball's going to right field, I don't want to miss that corner and have him pull the ball. Well, instead, he hits a line drive, good plate coverage. Remember, Bosch is about 6'5", 6'6", and has the long arms, and lines out to left field, gets an RBI.
Here's Miguel Cabrera, and there's a ground ball to Jeter. He'll field, and that will do it here in the 6th. But the Tigers get 2 more runs on 2 hits and 1 man left. We go to the bottom of the 6th, 9-6 Detroit. Time for the GE Capital Partner Play. Great partnerships are built on trust. At GE Capital, we prove that every day.
Here's Cologne's pitch to the dangerous Miguel Cabrera. Ground ball to Jeter. 2 parts to every play for an infield, to catch and throw, and there's Teixeira on the other end. That's our GE partner play.
Well, Cologne allowed 4 runs in 16 innings in spring training. So far today, 4 runs in 2 innings. So it must be odd for him to be back on a big league mound after missing all of last year. Jim Leyland's trying to hold this lead now, and he makes the call to the bullpen, brought to you by AT&T. And he's going to bring in Phil Coke. Phil Coke's the 5th starter on the Tigers, but with all the off days, they'll skip him over, and now using him out of the bullpen.
And that's where he was used last year, appearing in 74 games, 7-5 record, 3.76. And you can see more than a hit per inning, 26 walks, 53 strikeouts. The former Yankee, now a starting pitcher, except for today, in the early going for the Detroit Tigers this year.
Well, we told you, Kenny, they bring him in because Gardner's leading off. He doesn't neutralize lefties. Last year, lefties hit 273 against him, and righties hit 276. So he doesn't have that big sweeping breaking ball or sidearm motion that's going to really neutralize a lefty. There's a strike. Jim Leyland said even last year while using him out of the bullpen that Phil Coke has starter stuff because he's got 3 legitimate pitches. He said that's a starter to me.
I think in the Yankee organization he was a starting pitcher in the minors.
Right to first. Cabrera steps on the bag, 1 away. Well, the line on Scherzer is in. 5 innings, 9 hits, 6 runs, 2 walks, 6 strikeouts, 4 home runs, and he threw 96 pitches before turning it over to Phil Coke.
Yeah, the 4 home runs represent a career high for Scherzer in a game. But if the Tigers can hold on, he'll get the victory.
In the Yankee minor league system, Coke made 77 starts for them. And he will deal to Derek Jeter. Ground ball to second. Santiago, 2 outs. Beautiful blue skies above Yankee Stadium. That's crowd on hand on a Sunday afternoon, early April. Place looks great. A view from left field, right down the third base line to home plate, where Mark Teixeira digs in, this time from the right side. And with the wind blowing out to right, this makes sense to turn the switch hitter around to the other side.
Didn't seem to bother Miguel Cabrera.
No. That one's driven to deep left field, but Rayburn is there, and he'll make the play for the final out of a 1-2-3 inning. So Phil Coke comes in to retire the Yankees in order. We'll go to the 7th. Tigers up by 3. It's can cooler night as the Yankees take on the Twins. The first 18,000 guests in attendance are going to receive a Yankees insulated can cooler courtesy of Pepsi Max. Now, for tickets, log on to Yankees.com. You can visit the Yankee Stadium ticket window, Yankees clubhouse shops, or call Ticketmaster at 877-469-9849. We go to the 7th. The 1-2-3 inning in the bottom of the 6th, the first one for either side. The Cadillac scoreboard has the Tigers leading the Yankees 9-6. So 15 runs for the two teams combined, 19 hits as well.
It was also the first half inning without a hit. There's a good movement, but out of the strike zone by Colon. Heavy sinker.
Grounded to first to Shara. One away.
Got Martinez out in front on an off-speed pitch.
You know, we talked about the trade with Colon where he was 10-4 with the Indians, 10-4 with the Expos. We said it could have cost him a Cy Young. Well, we should complete that thought. Who do you think won the Cy Young in the American League in 2002?
2002.
He's now a 5th starter in the National League.
No clue.
Barry Zito, 23-5, 2.75. Okay. And in the National League, the Cy Young Award winner that year was Randy Johnson, 24-5, 2.32.
24-5. He was dealing with it.
Yeah. Count 1-1 to Rayburn. Rayburn's 1 for 3. Count 1-2. And the pitch. Strike 3. Rayburn down on strikes. It was great seeing Bob Lorenz the other day on opening day. Now all we could do is listen to him. Bob? Thank you, Robert. And we'll hear from Bob and Jack and Kim on the post-game show. Here's Don Kelly.
Kinsler to Shara-like, huh?
Amazing.
But the first 2 home runs he hit were leading off the ball game. That's never been done before. First 2 games of the season, leading off with a home run.
Colon in his 3rd inning of work. He relieved Phil Hughes, who struggled today. Phil pitched 4 innings and gave up 5 runs, and right now he's the pitcher of record on the losing side. Tigers scored 2 in the first. Yankees came back with 2 in the second. Then Tigers 3 in the third, and the Yankees came back with 2 in the bottom of the inning. That made it 5-4. Then the Tigers went up 7-4 with 2 in the 5th. Yankees came back with 2 in the bottom of the 5th, 7-6. And then the Tigers answered with 2 in the 6th, and that's where we are right now at 9-6 Detroit. 2-2. Count 3-2. Lined into center field. Granderson right there. And that'll do it. A 1-2-3 inning for Bartolo Colon. And that's the first 1-2-3 inning for a Yankee pitcher today. At the end of 6 1/2. Time for the seventh inning stretch. Tigers lead the Yankees 9-6, but don't go anywhere. We're going to honor America right here in the Bronx.
Please rise for a moment of silent prayer as we remember the servicemen and women serving our country at home and around the globe. Thank you. Now please join in Kate Smith's rendition of God Bless America.
Thank you, Bob. On the Cadillac scoreboard here at the stadium, Tigers lead the Yankees 9-6. How about this stat, though? The Yankees have hit a lot of home runs in this three-game set. As of this point, they've hit 9. Now, you might say, is that significant? And I would tell you that is a new Yankee record through 3 games. The previous record was 8, held jointly by the 1981 and the 1932 Yankee teams. Alex Rodriguez takes high from Phil Koch.
So 9 home runs in the first 3 games. This game's not over yet.
No. Have 9 more outs to go. Alex has one of those 9. It was yesterday. Today he is 0 for 3. Those 3 were against Max Scherzer, so this is his first at bat against Phil Koch. Count 2-1. Middle of the Yankee order, Rodriguez, Cano, and Swisher against the Tiger left-hander. There's Robinson Cano. Count 2-2. Crowd of 40,574 here at the stadium today as Ryan Perry begins to throw. That one is lined into center field and dunks in front of Jackson for a leadoff single here in the 7th.
That ball actually had some overspin. It looked like it might hold up for a while, but the overspin took it down towards the grass in the outfield for the base hit for A-Rod to get things started. That ball sinking rapidly in front of the center fielder. Austin Jackson decides to play it on the hop. It's been one of those days to be a hitter.
Here's Cano. He has one of the Yankee home runs today. Yankees have 4 home runs today. Cano's was a solo shot in the 3rd. His other at bats, he grounded to first and struck out. Check swing. Did he go? No, said the third base umpire Jerry Meals.
Get a second look at home. Did not offer convincingly enough for the third base umpire.
Soft ground ball to second. There's one. No return throw. Cano tried to pull an outside pitch. They call it rolling over. And that's exactly what he did.
Phil Coke got him out in front and kind of off the end of the bat, so the ball wouldn't hit hard enough to turn 2. Plus Santiago had to go to his left, and Peralta just going to hold the ball and get out of the way of A-Rod.
Here's Nick Swisher, 2 for 2 with a walk. Also scored 2 runs. On deck is Posada. He has 2 home runs today. Coke deals low, 1-0. Each team with 10 hits. But the Tigers have 9 runs, the Yankees 6. Big cut. 1-1.
Swisher has improved his average every year for the last 3 seasons. He hit 219 and 249, and then last year a career high 288. He's one of those hitters that seems to, like most of them with the Yankees, thrived under Kevin Long.
I mentioned the Twins are coming into town starting tomorrow for a 4-game set, and we're going to see the Yankees' 4th and 5th starters, not in order though. Tomorrow is going to be Nova against Scott Baker, then not wanting to give CeCe an extra day. Sabathia will pitch against Brian Dunsing. That's Tuesday. Wednesday night we'll get another look at, or first look at, Freddie Garcia against Carl Pavano, and then Francisco Liriano against A.J. Burnett. So those are your starters for the Yankees Twins series starting tomorrow. Pavano got roughed up in Toronto in the Twins opener. There's Freddie Garcia.
There's the Chief.
The 1-2. Ball blocked by Garcia, and heads up base running there by Cano. That did not stray too far from Martinez, and Cano just went.
A couple of things here. Cano realized the ball was going to be in the dirt. You followed the trajectory of the pitch, realized Martinez might have problems with it. He gets a decent jump. The throw is sailing. Good stop by Santiago to come up with this throw. Kind of a sidearm heave by Martinez. And there's the stop.
Well, it's aggressive base running by Cano, and again, it didn't get that far from Martinez.
It's a wild pitch.
But you're down by 3 runs. You have to make sure you get in there, and he got in there.
Well, it takes away effectively the ground ball double play. And puts him in scoring position.
2-2. Now 3-2. If Swisher gets on, that'll bring up Posada as the tying run here in the bottom of the 7th. That one's driven out to right center field and deep, giving chase Austin Jackson on the run, and it's off the base of the wall. Cano will score. Swisher with his 3rd hit of the afternoon picks up an RBI double, and the Tigers now lead 9-7.
Swisher with his 3rd run batted into the season. Puts a charge into this one. Runs it up the gap in right center field. Austin Jackson in center was in the retrieving mode right away. It's just a matter whether this one was going to get out of the park or not. Up against the base of the wall at the 385 sign, and Nick Swisher could trot it to second with an RBI double.
Pitching coach Rick Knapp talks with Coke. Let me ask you this. I know it's early, Kenny, but you've got one out here. You've got first base open, a guy who's swinging the bat very well. You've got a left-hander on the mound. Do you walk Posada and then deal to Granderson?
Well, what you do is if you put him on, you're putting the tying run on base and the go-ahead run at the plate. And this is what Posada's done. You're right. This might make them think. But this is Posada's first at-bat right-handed of the day. That might make them, because left-handed, he's been on fire with the 2 home runs. Jorge's never hit 3 in a game.
They've got the right-hander Ryan Perry. He is ready. And the Yankees would like to get something done here in the 7th because they know Benoit lurks in the 8th, and then after that, Valverde. Yankees have scored 23 runs in 23 offensive innings thus far this season. So the offense has been clicking. They will pitch to Posada. Swings through a high fastball. Yankees have out hit the Tigers 11-10. Off speed pitch, 1-1. Soriano and Chamberlain flanking bullpen coach Mike Harkey. Swisher with 3 hits today. Also reached on a walk. High fly ball, left field. Rayburn for the 2nd out. Now Coke will deal to Granderson, and the last time these two guys faced each other, it was all Granderson, as he hit a home run that broke a 3-3 tie in the 7th inning on opening day. Two for 5 against Coke lifetime with 1 home run.
This is Granderson on Thursday. Coke fell behind, 2 balls and no strikes, and Granderson was ready for the 3rd pitch of the at-bat.
The 1-0. Fouled away. Kenny, when the balls are flying out the way they are today, does a hitter get into a home run mode? Does he start to think about it more than he would?
You know, you see everybody else hitting one, and you figure maybe today's the day. But you got to keep your same approach. Not every pitch thrown to the plate is thrown up there to be hit for a home run. You know, this kind of reminds me of 2 years ago. Remember when the balls were just flying out of the new Yankee Stadium?
1-1. inside. Now, Koch has allowed 13 career home runs, and 8 of them have been to lefties. Koch was part of the Yankees' 27th world title on that 2009 team. But then part of the trade that brought Curtis Granderson to the Bronx. The 2-1. There's a strike.
Stayed with the breaking ball, 2-1. Made a good pitch.
The 2-2. Driven out to deep center. Austin Jackson back. He's still back. He's still back. And he makes the play. On the warning track. Took an extra base hit away from Curtis Granderson. But the Yankees inch closer. 1 run, 2 hits. No errors and 1 left. Could have been more. But a nice play by Austin Jackson as we go to the 8th. Austin Jackson, and we'll check it out on the Coors Light Freeze Cam. Going way back, and
where is it?
Freeze it. Right there, in the heel of the glove. Had to kind of reach back, Kenny. Not an easy play.
You know, you look at plays like that, and you see the size of the gloves. And we were talking about Rogers Hornsby years ago, and even before that, the gloves are a lot smaller. Got a lot of hits because the ball wouldn't stay in the glove when fielders would dive for the ball, and hits would be awarded. But now with the gloves that they use, balls stay in there and the fielders make the plays.
Ground ball by Peralta, backhanded by Jeter, long throw, and Teixeira cannot come up with the scoop. Well, today and throughout the Yankee season on Yes, we're asking you to vote along with us for the Chevy Player of the Game. Text your vote to 58772 or vote online at yesnetwork.com. Now, today's candidates are number 1, Miguel Cabrera, number 2, Brennan Bosch, number 3, Jorge Posada, number 4, Mark Teixeira. Vote now and make your voice heard. Standard text messaging rates apply.
Peralta's going to get his 3rd base hit, credited with a hit here, as Teixeira cannot come up with it cleanly.
Jim Leland looking for another run as he has inch bunt and he fouls it back.
I think he realizes if the Yankees kick a field goal here, they'll win this game.
Peralta held on at first by Teixeira. That time not bunting, and the count 1-1.
Of course, Colon's still in there in his 4th inning of work. Remember, he was stretched out as a starter in spring training.
About to throw his 60th pitch. Inge 4 for 10 in this series, and now Russell Martin wants to talk things over with Colon. Joe Girardi, team jumps out to a 2-0 start. Looking to sweep this series, and you got to give him credit. He started his entire starting lineup today, and we've seen in the past, you win the first couple of games, give guys off, but he ran them all out there again today. So far it hasn't worked, but they've scored enough runs. It hasn't been the lineup's fault at all. Didn't want to break up a good thing.
You figure if the Yankees score 7 runs in any game, there's on most games this year, they're going to win them. But they trail by a couple today.
Now, what was that misplaced one about? What are they doing out there? Would have been 111 hits. Count 2-2.
Inge has been bothered by bad knees the last couple of years. And we've seen him play center field. We've seen him catch. And all along he said his favorite position was third base. And that's where he is now.
And he grounds one to third. A-Rod's going to get the fourth, and he gets it. So a fielder's choice, and you score at 5-4. A-Rod with a strong arm fired to Cano to get the force on Peralta.
Get the lead runner off the bases. Double play is still in order. Of course, with Austin Jackson, it could be difficult unless he hits the ball very hard at somebody. That man can run.
Andrew Jones starting to stretch. Jackson shows bunt, takes a strike. There's the aforementioned Joaquin Benoit. Shows bunt again, takes outside.
He showed bunt the first time, and A-Rod didn't really come in. So then he was thinking about getting another one down.
A-Rod almost daring him the bunt. He took another step back. Now coming in. Fastball strike. Count 2-2. The thing that impressed the Yankees in spring training about Colon was his ability to locate. And also, most of his pitches sink. And they liked what they saw from him in Tampa. They didn't know what to expect, the guy who hadn't pitched in the big leagues last year. But he did show them something to make the team. And then he shows Austin Jackson a strike 3.
That is the 5th strikeout. There's that spillover, in this case, to a right-handed hitter. Looked outside and darted over the outside corner for a call, strike 3.
Here's Ramon Santiago. Larry Rothschild will go out and talk with Cologne. I think he wants to give him some time for a breather. Has not pitched this long in a while. You don't need a breather, though. Stick around after the final out for the WB Mason postgame. Join Bob Lorenz and Jack Curry back in the studio for in-depth analysis and highlights from this game. And then a look around the rest of the majors. Plus, Kimberly Jones gets the reaction from the clubhouse. It's all coming up later. It's only on this.
He was giving Cologne just a little bit of a breather there before he tried to pick up the third out.
Top of the 8th inning. Tigers 9, Yankees 7. Good lead for Inge. Served into left field. Coming on is Gardner, and he makes the play. And that'll do it in the 8th. No runs a hit, no errors, and one man left. We go to the bottom of the 8th inning, and the Yankees are down by 2. In part by J&R Music and Computer World, and by Toyota, the official hybrid of the New York Yankees. Well, the Yankees now have their work cut out for them. They're down by 2, and they face Joaquin Benoit. And look at the numbers he had last year, Kenny. 75 strikeouts in 16 1/3 innings. The Rays took a flyer on him, had been injured, and boy, he rewarded them and then left as a free agent.
Yeah, we call his days with the Texas Rangers. The Rangers didn't know how to use him as a starter or as a reliever, and he's become one of the top setup men in the league. And what he did for the Rays last year parlayed into a nice deal with the very lucrative contract with the Detroit Tigers.
$12 million, 3 years. Last year against the Yankees, 7 innings, 2 hits, a run, 3 walks, and 5 strikeouts. And he will face Russell Martin. The word in spring training, he was throwing the ball very, very well. So this is their version of Soriano and Mariano. They have Benoit, and then they have Valverde. Now, Valverde pitched yesterday in kind of a blowout game and did not pitch well. but it's a different animal when a closer comes in with a game that he could save. Yesterday, he just came in to get work. Joaquin Benoit, we showed you his numbers, and Rafael Soriano with Tampa, 1.73, an American League leading 45 saves.
That is going to be sorely missed in the Rays bullpen this year.
Randy Choate left to sign with the Marlins. Dan Wheeler left. He signed with the Red Sox. Benoit, Soriano. I mean, they lost everybody in that bullpen of any import.
Balfour
to the A's. And now they're trying to cobble together a bullpen this year, and they're trying to close games, at least at the beginning, with Kyle Farnsworth. Right-handers against Benoit last year, 150. Lefties hit 144. So pick your poison. I don't want to shortchange Benoit, Kenny, because that's not my way. It was not 3 years, 12. It was 3 years, 16.5.
Would you get a call from his accountant?
No, I could see from the field he raised his eyebrows and said, no, I think it's a bit more. Russell Martin's hot hitting continues. He picks up his third hit of the game.
And of course, that immediately brings the tying run to the plate. New lease on life for Russell Martin after injury plagued last few years with the Los Angeles Dodgers, and even got off to a slow start with the Yankees in spring training, recovering from knee surgery, but he appears to be 100%. And he has his third hit of the day.
He had 2 3-hit games all of last year. So here's Brett Gardner. He is 0 for 4 today. There's a strike. Yankees trying to climb back into this game. 9-7 they trail. They've out-hit the Tigers 12-11.
There are a lot of folks that thought Benoit was done because he had shoulder surgery and missed all of the season 2 years ago. And that's when he was with Texas. The Rays signed him, had a big year, and now here he is. One of the better setup men in the game.
Probably has the ability to close.
You know, it's a good point, because now you're seeing several teams, Michael. They're almost as if they have dual closers, the 8th and 9th inning. You look at the Yankees with Soriano and, of course, Mariano in the 9th. You look at the Tigers here with Benoit and Valverde. You look at the Red Sox with Bard and Papelbon.
And Jenks.
Jenks, yeah. It's like teams are hoarding closers. Shut down the end of the game.
And Gardner seems off these first couple of games. He's 0 for 5 with 3 strikeouts. And that ties a career high for him with 3 strikeouts in a game. He's now done it 8 times.
Good movement on the fastball away from Benoit. 2-seamer moving away, and it might have actually ended up out of the strike zone, but 2 strikes. Here it is on Yesmo. He was either going for the corner or just off, and he got Gardner to chase it. Believe me, got there a lot faster than that.
Here's Derek Jeter. He is 0 for 3 with a walk.
One thing you see right away from Benoit is ability to throw strikes. I think the number we had, he had 11 walks last year.
That could be a double play. There's one. And the ball is not scooped by Cabrera. So the inning stays alive.
A little sloppy on the throw from Peralta over the first base. And it appeared he had plenty of time. Let's see how much pressure is actually put on it by Russell Martin. Comes across the bag. He had plenty of time to make a good throw. Instead, it's in the dirt, puts the pressure on Cabrera, and he can't handle it. And the inning continues, and it gives Mark Teixeira a chance to come up and hit here, representing the tying run. That should have been tailor-made 4-6-3 double play.
So Teixeira, a single and a solo home run today, now has homered in all 3 games. And a strike. Teixeira 5 at-bats lifetime against Benoit. He has not picked up a hit. Zotto in class with Professor Harkey. The 0-1. 0-2.
Now you see Victor Martinez just sitting out there on the outside corner. They want to keep the ball away from Teixeira at all costs. Trying to keep him from pulling the ball. They've seen enough of his act this series.
There's a line drive to center field, and that is going to be caught by Austin Jackson. Just off the grass, and he hauled it in to take a base hit away from Mark Teixeira. Good play by Jackson. We'll go to the 9th inning, and the Tigers lead the Yankees by 2.
Just with the drives, this is the first inning. His first home run of the season, a long 2-run shot into the seats in 11. Then in the third, another 2-run homer. He's had 2 home runs, his first 2 of the season, and 4 runs batted in. Those are our Land Rover drives of the game.
And Miguel Cabrera is on deck as the Yankees bring in their 3rd pitcher of the afternoon, Jabba Chamberlain. Phil Hughes started 4 innings. Bartolo Colon relieved 4 innings. Hughes gave up 5 runs. Colon 4, and here's Jabba now. The Yankees showed their faith in Chamberlain on opening day. In a 3-3 game, they brought in Chamberlain in the 7th inning and not David Robertson. So looked like the pecking order for those 3 innings: Chamberlain, Soriano, and Rivera. 9-11-1, leading 7-12-0. And Chamberlain will face 3, 4, and 5 in the Tiger order: Brennan Bosch, Cabrera, and Victor Martinez. Bosch 3 for 3 with a sac fly.
He and Cabrera provided most of the offense for the Tigers today.
4 ribbies, 3 runs scored. And now he has his 4th base hit.
Fans, Wednesday night, get ready for the Masters when golfing legend Tom Watson sits down for a new GMC Presents Center Stage with Michael Kay. From his 39 PGA Tour titles to his friendly rivalry with Jack Nicklaus, Watson discusses 4 decades as a pro. Center Stage, Tom Watson, premieres Wednesday at 11, only on Yes. Did you get any good golf tips for us, Michael?
You know what? He showed me how to hold a club. And he said, "Do you golf?" And I said, "No." He said, "Perfect. I could really work with you."
So you're ready. You'll be ready for the tour next year.
I'm ready for the hole with the clown's mouth. There's a ground ball up the middle and past the diving Jeter into center field. And the Tigers are threatening 1st and 2nd, nobody out.
So we talked about the good offensive days for both Bosch and Cabrera, and they continue here in the 9th inning. Extended dive by Derek Jeter comes up short. And he's a good hitter.
Here's Victor Martinez. Victor 0 for 4 today, as the Tigers are trying to salvage the final game of this 3-game set. Count 1-0. Final game of opening weekend for the Yankees, and the Twins come to town starting tomorrow night for a 4-game set. We'll have all 4 games for you right here on Yes. Then the Yankees will go to Boston, and they'll help the Red Sox on their home opener. That'll be a 2:05 start for the game on Yes. We'll have all the pregame. And then Saturday and Sunday at Fenway. Saturdays on Fox and Sundays on ESPN, but both times we'll have the Yes postgame right after the game. So we're all set. We'll carry you right through the season. 95-mile-an-hour fastball by Chamberlain. He had his hand on his hip as he stared into C.B. Buckner's. It would say, well, where was that? Where was that, Kenny?
Maybe a
tad low.
Tad low. I used to know a tad low.
Good guy.
Yeah, some days.
again. Kenny's friend, Tad Lowe. So now full count, first and second. Yankees want to hold it right here. They know that they face Valverde in the bottom of the ninth inning, so they're already trailing 9-7, and that's going to be a tough enough mountain to climb. They'd like to hold it right here. Love to be able to get Martinez to bang into a double play. Maybe they do just that. There's one. There's two. Moving to third is Bosch.
Anything else you want to call? Here it is. Banging to the double play. Robinson Cano taking himself, stepping over Cabrera, throws on the first for the double play. Got jammed with a pitch up and in, and Cano says, I'll do the honors. And throws on the first for the double play.
So runner at third now, 2 outs, and here's Ryan Rayburn. Rayburn 1 for 4.
Good slider, 90 miles an hour.
Two outs and runners in scoring position last year. Rayburn under 200. Java's got the good velocity, 95 miles on that fastball. Ooh, 96, dialing it up. What is Rayburn looking for here? That fastball or the killer slider in the dirt?
The killer slider got him on the first one, and then Java said, I'll just rear back and let him have the country heat, Nebraska heat. Fastball away.
Two balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. The 2-2. 3-2.
Fans kind of the umpires and fans thought that was close only because it was high enough to be a strike, but it was outside, as you all could see.
Payoff. There's a base hit inside third. Big base hit for Ryan Rayburn. He's going to go to second. RBI double. Bosch scores, and that gives the Tigers a 10-7 lead.
Michael, you were talking about should he throw the fastball or the slider? And this time he goes with the slider, and this one is right in the middle of the plate. It was a spinner, and then it got raked down the third baseline by Rayburn to drive in the run with 2 outs. Now the hitters are up there at a slight disadvantage now. They're in the darkness while Job is standing out there in the light. That's why I wouldn't have thrown a breaking ball. Just get it up there as rapidly as possible. He had problems with the fastball the whole at bat. And that was kind of a get it over slider. Let's watch this on Yesmo. Here the ball coming out of the light. And then all of a sudden you can see how it changes complexion all the way to the plate.
Fouled away. 2-2. Swing and a miss. Dropped by Martin, and he fires to first. But the Tigers get a run on 3 hits, and they leave 1. Yankees are down by 3. Do they have a rally in their bones? Alex Rodriguez will start it off. Then Robinson Cano. And then Nick Swisher. We'll see what they do in the bottom of the 9th. Runs have been scored in this series, and 17 today, 26 hits combined. But can the Yankees come back and at least force extra innings? This has been a ballpark where they have favored high throwing and late inning comebacks and bottom of the 9th walk-off victories. Can they do it against Jose Valverde?
Valverde last year in 60 games picked up 26 saves and 29 opportunities for the Detroit Tigers. Hard throwing right-hander. The whirling dervish out on the mound. He's got sort of a spinning delivery.
Well, right now, Max Scherzer is still the pitcher of record, although he didn't pitch that well. But he lasted the requisite 5 innings. Phil Cope then came in for the 7th. Joaquin Benoit for the 8th. And now Jose Valverde here in the 9th as the Tigers try to get out of the Bronx with 1 win. Last year, Valverde had a 38-pitch save at Yankee Stadium, and he walked 4 during that inning. Alex Rodriguez will try to start it off. Alex, and then Cano, Swisher, and if anybody gets on, Posada. Yankees have a 3-run deficit they're looking at. As you can see, Valverde had a good first half last year, under 1 ERA. In the second half, he struggled, 6.38.
That's kind of an unusual way. I mentioned the fact, kind of a whirling dervish delivery, but his setup. A little different, wouldn't you say?
Hot shot and grabbed there by Santiago. 1 out.
Rod took a nice easy swing and just hit a rocket at Santiago.
Valverde has had 6 appearances in his career against the Yankees. 6 innings, 2 hits, 1 run, 6 walks and 8 strikeouts, but a 1.50 ERA. Now when he's in his set position, and if we could take a look at him, if John Moore will do this for us from the center field camera, you can see he is not your typically chiseled athlete. And you wonder if that's why he had that bad second half. But he was so effective in the first. He's a big man.
Makes me think back to the days of Mickey Lolich with the Tigers. Won 3 games in the World Series and was the MVP. Left-handed starter.
Well, our good buddy David Wells used to say when people would question him about his weight, I don't run the ball up the home plate.
You know what? The amazing thing about that, Boomer looked great in spring training.
Yeah.
It's just the best I've ever seen him.
Absolutely looked wonderful. Threw great BP. Slow roller. Valverde off the mound. He will tag out Cano for the second out. So the Yankees are down to their final out. He takes a long time between pitches. He's got a lot of gyrations and keeps changing baseballs, and certainly in no hurry out there. There he is, another new baseball.
You get an out, you get a new ball.
And you'll also watch if he does close this game out. He certainly puts on a little bit of a show afterward, which aggravates the opponents. But as Joe Girardi likes to say, if you don't like to see him do it, then score off him. Count 1-0. Yankees had 7 wins last year when they trailed by 3 or more runs. But they're running out of outs here. Down 10-7, 2 outs, bottom of the ninth, nobody on. Swisher's had a very good day. 3 for 3 with a walk. Count 2-1. And now 3-1 on the splitter.
There's the splitter. Yeah, Valverde kind of reminds me. Remember Al Hrabowski? And his act as a closer, where he'd stand behind the mound, slam the ball into his glove, and then walk up the back of the mound, just staring at the hitter. That was the guy in the day you wanted to hang an L on.
And Swisher keeps it alive by working a walk.
Swisher's been on base 5 times today.
Posada's had a good day, really an outstanding day. 2 2-run home runs. Reached on an E7 and then flied out to left. Faced Valverde once in his career and did not pick up a hit, so 0 for 1. Count 1-0.
At least one more man needs to get on base for the Yankees to make this potential rally serious.
Runner goes. Swing and a miss, and Swisher will take second on defensive indifference. One. 2-1. This is what Valverde does. He can walk the ballpark, but he always seems to get that out that he needs.
This must be somewhat disconcerting for a manager to see how slowly he works.
Well, Jim Leland is a guy who can get unnerved. He used to be the manager of the Marlins when our colleague Al Leiter pitched there. And he used to say to Al before I would take them out in the first inning, how many packs of cigarettes are going to cost me today? He called Al Leiter a two-packer. Didn't your former manager, or we were called Don Stanhouse?
Yeah, two-pack, yeah. He was
Don
a lot like
Stanhouse, a former reliever.
He used to work like Valverde. Took his time and went to 3-2 on everybody.
High fly ball, center field. This should do it. Austin Jackson comes in, and he makes the play. And the Yankees lose this one 10-7. No runs, no hits, no errors, and one man left in the bottom of the ninth inning as Valverde picks up the save. Big day for Miguel Cabrera. Lots of home runs flying out of the ballpark in the Bronx, but not enough for the Yankees to win. The Tigers salvage the final game of this three-game set. We'll wrap it up in just a moment.